Hi everyone, my name is Yang, and today I'm going to talk about one of the most influential scientists in the field of artificial intelligence, Geoffrey Hinton. Over the next several minutes, I'll walk you through his background, his groundbreaking contributions to deep learning, and his lasting impact on the world of machine learning and beyond. Now let's get started. Geoffrey Hinton is a British-Canadian cognitive psychologist and computer scientist. He is the professor emeritus at the University of Toronto and has worked as a researcher at Google Brain. If you've heard of the term godfather of deep learning, that's him. His work laid the foundation for the modern era of the artificial intelligence. What's fascinating is that he began as a psychologist trying to understand the brain and ended up transforming how machines learn. He played a critical role in popularizing deep neural networks, while most of the AI world was still focused on symbolic reasoning and expert systems. So let's talk about his early life and career. Hinton was born in 1947 in London into a family filled with intellectuals. He earned his undergrad degree from the University of Cambridge and completed a PhD in artificial intelligence at the University of Edinburgh. Even as a student, he was interested in how the brain works and how that knowledge could be used to design intelligent machines. But back then, the field was dominated by rule-based AI. Hinton's idea about simulating the brain's structure using neural networks were seen as a fringe, even naive. Nevertheless, he continued to explore those ideas despite opposition, which ultimately paved the way for today's AI breakthroughs. So in the next slides, I'll talk about his key contributions. In the mid-1980s, Hinton, along with colleague David Ramberhart and Roland Williams, popularized backpropagation, an algorithm used to efficiently train neural networks. This method calculates the gradient of error and helps the network adjust its weights to reduce that error. It might sound simple now, but back then, it was revolutionary. Backprop made it possible to train neural networks with many layers, something that was previously impossible. Without this method, technologies like Siri, ChatGPT, or even basic image classifiers won't exist. This wasn't just a small technical tweak. It was a mathematical foundation that made deep learning feasible. Fast forward to 2006, Hinton proposed deep brief networks, which made training deep neural networks more practical. These models use restricted Boltzmann machines, a type of unsupervised learning, to pre-train each layer of a network one at a time before fine-tuning. Before this, training deep architectures was a nightmare due to vanishing gradients and poor optimization. His work showed how to get past these limitations. This made deep learning more accessible and helped bring it into the mainstream. Researchers who had previously given up on neural networks started paying attention again. In 2012, a huge breakthrough happened. Hinton, along with his students Alex and Ilya, built AlexNet, a deep convolutional neural network. They entered it into the ImageNet competition, which involved classifying over 1 million images. AlexNet didn't just win, it crushed the competition. It cut the error rates almost in half and was trained using GPUs, which was pretty novel at that time. Techniques like ReLU activation and dropout regularizations became standard after this model. The success of AlexNet marked the true beginning of the deep learning era and proved that large multi-layer networks could solve real-world problems. What followed was an explosion in deep learning applications. From voice assistants to language translation, self-driving cars to facial recognition. Hinton's work forms the backbone of these technologies. He co-founded the Vector Institute in Toronto to further AI research and education. Many of his students, including Yan Lekun and Ilya Sutskever, have become leaders in the AI world, heading major labs at Meta and OpenAI. His influence is truly multi-generational. Hinton didn't just build models, he built a movement. Geoffrey Hinton has been recognized with some of the biggest honors in science and engineering. In 2018, he received the Turing Award, along with Yoshua Bengio and Yan Lekun, for their contributions to deep learning. This award is essential, the Nobel Prize of Computing. He also received the Ramhardt Prize for cognitive science and became a companion of the Order of Canada, one of the country's highest civilian honors. This award recognizes not just his technical movements, but the massive impacts his work has had on society. One thing that often overlooked is Hinton's perseverance. For decades, neural networks were dismissed as impractical, and funding was hard to come by. Hinton stuck with it. He even left a prestigious position at Carnegie Mellon because he wanted to work on neural networks without interference. More recently, Hinton has been outspoken about the risks of AI. He left Google in 2023 to speak more openly about his concerns. He wanted about the potential misuse of generative AI, misinformation, and autonomous weapons. Even after his technical success, he'd still focused on the ethical challenges AI presents. To wrap up, Geoffrey Hinton is more than a brilliant scientist. He's a visionary who changed how machines learn and how humans interact with them. For theoretical concepts to real-world impact, his legacy is deep and enduring. Whether you're using AI in your smartphones or building the next breakthrough in research, you are walking a path he helped create. Thank you for listening.